Have you ever just wanted to bang your head on your desk out of frustration? Well, the hiring process can certainly do that to you, whether you're doing the hiring or being hired. Things can be stressful when you're doing something you're not familiar with. That is why it's good to be informed when going into any situation. Whether you're applying for a job or hiring an employee, knowing the interviewing process can be very helpful to you. It can make the difference in whether you get hired or hire someone. The employer employee relationship starts here, so first impressions are very important on both parts. As a small business owner for over 15 years now, I have done the hiring process quite a few times. Over the years, I've learned the important things to look for when hiring an applicant. Today, I will be talking to you about the hiring process. First, there is the application, then an interview, next, a background check, and lastly, checking references. First, I would like to talk to you about the application process. You would take the applications when they are submitted online or in person, and weed through the applications for the best fit. According to It's Your Business, Hire Slowly, though you may need someone right away, hiring the right person is incredibly key to the running of your business. For that reason, do not make rash decisions. According to Starting Your Own Business, start out the hiring process by getting a clear picture of what you want this person to do. Write out a detailed job description, then picture the personality type you want in that job. In the past, I was not particular with the application process and ended up hiring some real duds. Applications can be very standard, so if you have something that you feel will help you to either stand out as an applicant or help you choose an applicant, you should add it to the application. Now that you have gone through the applications and selected the ones you like, it is time to set up interviews. According to Interviewing Skills Essential Managers, the first few moments of an interview are vitally important. This is when initial impressions are formed. Whatever your status, greet each candidate with the same politeness and respect you would want to receive if the roles were reversed. You should always greet a candidate by standing up, making eye contact, giving a handshake, and introducing yourself. This can be a very nerve-wracking experience for both parties, so you should try and put a potential hiree at ease. When interviewing or being interviewed, you want to make sure skills and personalities come through in the interview. According to Finding Keepers, the average length of time someone spends in a job has shortened from 27 years in 1955 to barely 4 years today. This means that the idea of someone you hire staying with the company long term is not as likely as it used to be, which makes interviewing that much more important. You should do more than one interview with the potential candidates you like. Each meeting helps you to get one step closer to your top picks. I have learned that it is definitely better to interview an applicant more than once, as the more you talk with someone, the more your strengths and weaknesses will come through. Once you have your top picks, it is time for the background check. According to Forbes, most people might find it unseemly for you to run background checks on your potential dates prior to asking them out. But the same does not hold true when hiring a new employee. While taking a chance on a blind date might result as a bad evening, there's absolutely no doubt that making a wrong hiring decision can haunt your company, your other employees, and your client base. You should definitely do a criminal check, background check, and must have applicants sign a release form when doing so, otherwise it is illegal. In the past, I took applications at face value and only did a background check when an issue arose. Had I done this step in the beginning, I would have saved myself, my company, and my employees from having to deal with an employee that was not up to par. Once you've done a background check on your prospects, it's time to check your references. According to Finding Keepers, absurd as it may seem, many employers don't check references at all. A recent Monster survey showed 72% of employers check references, and 58% of them said that job seekers misrepresent their work experience. That being said, that is why it is so important to check references. You are now one step closer to making that final decision. You should ask the references open-ended questions and not yes or no questions. An example would be, how would you describe Eileen's on-the-job performance? Done properly, checking references can be one of the most important determinations in making your selection. From my experience, when checking references, sometimes the person giving the reference does not want to say anything bad about the applicant. So it is good to listen for those uncomfortable pauses that let you know the person giving the reference is trying to figure out a way not to say something negative. A reference should always sound sure about the information they are conveying to you. So, now that you have followed all the steps in the hiring process, you should be ready to make an offer to a candidate. In conclusion, I hope that you all have a better understanding of the hiring process. You should always take applications, interview the applicant, do a background check, and finally check references. Whether you are interviewing a potential employee or being interviewed for a job, you are now better equipped as to the way it works. As Finding Keepers says, good help isn't hard to find when you do proper research.